By the time Georgia's offense got back on the field in the third quarter against Alabama, it found itself down 14 points, needing a really efficient and explosive attack to get back in it. We're here to show you why that did not happen. Multitude of reasons. I'm Dayne Young, Brent Rollins from UGAsports.com. And Brent, Georgia knew when it got down 14 points late in, talk about the end of the last 4 minutes of the second quarter and the first of the third. You put those together, and you can really see a lot of swing just in how the coin toss went. It happened that way for Georgia.
Yeah, and Alabama took advantage, got the 2-for-1. We talked about earlier last week in the video with the play that could have been made when Bryce Young was stripped on that one play, but didn't. So you're down 2 touchdowns. And what's interesting about all this and watching all this, I think there's a theme where Georgia kind of got away a little bit from who they were and not necessarily went into a drop back game very quickly, as opposed to mixing run and pass and mixing play action.
All right, so we'll start here, and a guy that we've been wanting to see all day long. Tell me who circled.
That'd be Mr. Pickens.
Yep.
George
First
Pickens.
play that we'll show you here of Georgia's offense.
First play of the second half when they get the ball.
Now, normally,
throw, amazing catch.
I wouldn't say this is the greatest thing, but it's George Pickens, so throwing the ball.
Hey, yep, throwing the ball. Get it to him quick. I'd love to see just a quick. By the way, with the way the safety rotates a little bit, I'd love to see a little more, go route type deal. But they obviously had this as a quick call because of the way the line, everybody's cutting on the line. So this was either throw the bubble or throw the backside little slant to Pickens. Waffle
House always open. You see him out there by himself, get him the ball.
But yeah, hey, I like it. Good start. You're getting positive, and you get one of your best players a touch.
All right, next play here. Keep your eyes on Darnell Washington for Georgia, but for Alabama, you always keep your eyes on Will Anderson.
Yeah, 31's really good, and that's one of the unfortunate. I mean, it's insane analysis I just offered right there, but it's one of those things where, and also he knows what's coming. Like he knows the action, the back is on his side, that the back goes away like that. He can go there in a very fast and very effective manner. And watch Toa as the right inside backer. Like we saw this I think the first time Stetson kept the ball, the backer was right there with him. They knew how to play, the true zone read mesh type stuff. One of the things I think that Cincinnati will do, and one of the things that it'll be interesting to see if Georgia watches and then replicates, is what Cincinnati often does is they run a split zone read where the guy Darnell and the person in Darnell's position comes across, doesn't touch Will Anderson at all, and then goes out into the flat. So now you have sort of a true 3-level read where the QB's either giving them a run if the defender pushes up the field, he's pulling, and then reading the linebacker. If the linebacker stays with the QB, they throw the ball to someone like the Darnells of the world or Levin for Cincinnati. They'll be coming across. So it'll be interesting to see if Cincinnati uses that play, and 2, if Georgia maybe uses some variation of that if they have to get a rematch. Or even, by the way, even against Michigan, because against Michigan, that's one of their 2 really good defensive ends, and sometimes the best thing to do is read them, not necessarily try to block them.
Perfect world. You hope Darnell makes that block. It's hard when they're making it. That guy. Just this.
Yes.
All right. So third play we're going to show you here. Third down.
3rd and 8. And this is just what's interesting. Saban talked about this after the game is, hey, we did a lot of showing something and then doing something else. And, it's one of those where Stetson did a great job of, being patient. They did a good job of picking up what they thought was a blitz, by the way, because Stetson brought Bowers into the formation thinking that there was, they were going to be bringing extra guys. He sort of calls him back into the formation, brings Bowers in, and they only rush actually 4. Two different guys drop back, and protect it well, give enough time. Burton goes and get high points and gets the ball. It felt like Kearse maybe should be clearing a little more so than what he was doing, because he was kind of turning and looking. And as he slows down, he ends up, almost ends up with 2 guys in the same spot.
Yeah, I think this is this is poor spacing here. I mean, Stetson still has the ball, is looking where to go with it, and and that doesn't give him a lot of options there when you have those two guys so close to each other. So there's an
Burton
angle most likely from Kyrus Jackson that gets shaved off here when it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where you got to clear out route, keep the safety occupied, and then the over route or the the in route, in breaking route coming in underneath of it. But like I said, it just kind of it looked, but from the timing of it, it looked a little off. But still, yet, hey, 3rd and 8, first drive that you get the ball, you pick up a big 3rd down, and you're rolling. Burton takes a little forward, and now you're rolling.
Now we got a 1st down and a little double flats action.
Yeah, this was right after the pass. They took a shot and got a pass interference penalty. A.D. Mitchell drew a pass interference penalty, and this is one where you go, all right, cool, get the ball out one of our playmakers in space and go and get positive yards on 1st down. But this is one of those where you talk, speaking of those Waffle House guys, as the back goes right there, when Stetson decides to throw this ball, look at Bowers coming open in the middle of the field. Right when he releases, as he kind of gives his eyes to Cook, and the linebacker turns his hips and starts running, and Bowers starts coming into the open field there a little bit. But still, yet, hey, 1st down, positive play, get a playmaker the ball, and move forward.
Hey, you don't complain about that if you're an offensive coordinator.
No, it's in a perfect world you get 15, 20, 30 yards on every play, but you'll take that gain on that play to get rolling within that. And then unfortunately,
here's the meme that was.
This is a penalty. It is. Like, I don't know how this is not. The dude he's right there just clapping like crazy, and then you get the snap. That's a simulation of the snap. It's like it is what it is. But still, yet they called it on Georgia. I don't even know how they called a penalty on Georgia because I guess somebody wasn't set, so maybe that's what they called. But 2nd and 10 now instead of 2nd and 5, and you're rolling, you're feeling pretty good. You've got a penalty, you've got good yardage on 1st down. Now you're 2nd and 10.
And when you need a play, you go to one of your guys. This is Brock Bowers.
You go to your best player, and that's Mr. And neither angle, by the way, the wide angle or this sort of from behind angle, does this catch justice, because this was just a phenomenal. He put it just a little low. You're trying to lead a receiver, not get him hurt in a way with that safety coming down. But Bowers does a phenomenal job of using his hands and holding onto that ball. Just a great catch. Dude's just a phenomenal player. He is that good, that big of a find for them as a true freshman.
One of the things that we talk about a lot with Stetson Bennett, and this is, I'd say, in the second half of this episode of what we're doing here on Film Don't Lie, you're a good athlete. Run the ball, take what they give you, and in a lot of cases, you're going to get more than you would have gotten throwing anyway.
Yeah, and this is I've said this a gazillion times all season. If he blends the gunslinger role with the game manager role, you very much can win a national championship because of him. But this is one where it's like, oh, when you think about just the math of this, what's the probability of making that throw into that tight of coverage down the field like that versus you going and getting 8 yards? Because when he decides to make that throw, like, there is grass upon grass to go get space or to go get some yardage and go live at 2nd and 3, maybe even make a guy miss because you're good at that. He actually makes people miss in the open field and you go get 15. Who knows? But, it's one where, hey, if Bowers turns around and is wide open, and the corner falls or something like that, boom, take it all day, take the touchdown. But he's in phase. He's tight coverage on that. You have to make a perfect throw and catch on that versus going and taking the positive yards that you can go get here, especially, by the way, when you're rolling and you need to keep rolling because of, you're being down 2 touchdowns.
And one thing that, I saw initially, and we talked about this before we went on air here, A.D. Mitchell at the bottom, because I know a lot of people say, well, why didn't he keep running on this play to give just another option to Bennett? This is the backyard football. At this point, you see Bennett scrambling here, going to this open space. Why would A.D. Mitchell not
keep going across
running
the field,
this way and just give you another layer in that route there? And this goes back to how you're trained, right? And he stops and becomes a blocker.
Yeah, I think he stops and is like, hey, I'm going to just keep the space there, keep the spacing. But now you're 2nd and 10, when everything's been positive momentum going forward, and now you're 2nd and 10, and a play that then you run a play that just doesn't this doesn't work well.
Yeah, we talk about spacing. Georgia did not do that well offensively in the third quarter. This is, to me, as much of evidence of that as anything.
And you're running a quick game, and that's fine, but don't stop. Like, why Bama run a stunt, by the way. Bama run a stunt right there, and based upon how they were blocking it, those two guys, the two down linemen that were really close there, end up basically right in Kenny Mack's lap when he catches the ball a little bit. But again, this is one where what's the design of the play? Or what do you think is the idea of this play? It's to go get on the edge. You got guys at the top, like I think that's Kyrus Jackson in the slot, that's taking an outside leverage position. He's wanting to, get the outside part of the guy that he's trying to block there. And you're trying to get into the space. So keep going, keep rolling. And when the bad guys are coming, guess where they're coming? They're coming from the inside. They're not coming from the outside.
Kenny Mack stops at the circle. Get out here. Get to the numbers where your blockers are. Maybe you don't get much out of it anyway. Alabama's got a lot of good athletes, but you're going to get more there than you did on this play.
Yeah, and it was just one of those where he instinctively sees that guy, I think, out of the corner of his eye and like, uh-oh, I'm going to get tackled, and I kind of stop. But I think if he just keeps going, hey, just go be faster than those guys. But now you put yourself in 3rd and long situation, 3rd and 15, and hey, this is what you should do if you're Stetson Bennett. If you don't have something initially and you see a lane, take it. Take it all day. Take it every day. And it's just now. Granted, they reviewed it. I think they gave it to him initially, and then they reviewed it and made it 4th and 1. But they got it on a sneak. But still, take it when it's there. Take those opportunities with legs and keep ahead of the chains, because I think Georgia wants to be a certain style offensively. They want to be sort of equal run and pass, play action game. The running game never not be a part of what they do. And when you do those things and you take advantage of these opportunities, you can consistently be who you are, I think.
You'd love to see James Cook find a way to get this safety, but it's tough to do. Like, keep your eyes downfield. He's adjusting on the fly too. Overall, I think this is a great play. You want to see more of this from Bennett.
Yep. Hey, especially in 3rd down, instead of forcing the ball that maybe you got to make an insane throw to get. All right, there you go. So 4th down, they get the sneak, get the 1st down. 1st down, it's just I think a 1 yard gain maybe to Zeus. It's a really short run, and then here's 2nd and 9, and this is one where it's like, oh, it's the why. It's the why do this kind of thing. Now the interesting part about the play is, so the motion comes, they don't follow, so they're not in man, and knowing that they're not in man. Hey, Cook's probably just going to be running right into somebody. And 2, you're not blocking Will Anderson, which, unless you're reading him, to me is generally a bad idea. And then 3, the instant you come off of that and that dude's in your face and it's 1st and 10, set up and throw that thing. You got Ladd over the top, or you got Bowers there, fine. Throw it 2, 3, 4 yards over his head and throw it through the back of the end zone. Like, just live to play another day. Now, Ladd does kind of semi come open here, and if you do, and he just kind of lofts it into that back corner, fine. But with that guy right in your face, that's just a hard ask, and it's just a tough play to make. But still, live to play another day. He leads Bowers, the Bama player makes a great play on the ball, and now again, you get an opportunity. You're in basically the red zone, and you don't score.
So the next time Georgia gets the ball,
after basically a 3 and out, it's in essence a 3 and out. Bama had 4 plays and then they punted. Go back to it. You get a 1st down pass to Kyrus Jackson, and then you get a 2nd and 6 run to James Cook. And personally, this is me personally. I'm just a guy who has some opinions about football, but I hate this formation. I hate this formation with a passion, unless you're going to truly read things and come off of this and possibly throw the bubble. Now, sometimes Georgia does a phenomenal job of blocking and goes and gets big plays off of this formation, because the key is Ladd is ineligible. I think it's Ladd that's in the slot right there. When you look at this formation, he's on the line of scrimmage. So you have 2 receivers on the line of scrimmage. Ladd is not going out for a pass. He cannot go out for the pass. And so if you're going to do this type of formation and these type of plays, I would love to see this come off and be where, hey, let's pull, let's possibly run the bubble, let's run the QB, that kind of stuff, 3-level reads. And, but still, ideally you block it great. But by the way, Bama also knows that all you're doing is running here because their linebackers scream downhill in that play.
James Cook out of the game for the next time, and here comes Zamir White.
Yep, and this is a good third down conversion. This is one of those we talked about the last time. KYP, know your personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want your back one-on-one against Will Anderson? Because if this is any sort of longer route, it doesn't end well for your quarterback. But hey, Stetson does a good job. Quick decision. Bowers runs a quick route out of the bunch, and you get a first down. Move forward.
Will Anderson's so good. He's just so good. I mean, again, that's not crazy analysis, but Georgia did get a first down on a play where he could have blown it up easily.
This is also one of those game manager type, hey, well, let's be a game manager. And when you look at this play, Stetson looks to his right. So the motion back comes out. Stetson looks to his right instantly. And as soon as he comes off of that, the instant to me he comes off of that, take the check down, throw it to the back. Because when you're looking very quickly like that, you take that quick of a drop and look. Now Bowers comes open, by the way, down the field. And by the time he could ever see that again, he's getting pressured and he's got to go try to make a play with his legs. But it's all right. Hey, if your initial read isn't there because of the congestion, and maybe he's trying to throw the quick hitch right there to the outside receiver, and he's just guy in the throwing lane, all there's congestion there. It's in the throwing lane. Once you come off that, just throw it to the back, just check it down, and let him try to go get 3 yards, 2 yards, anything positive. Maybe make a guy miss and get 8, something like that. But if you hold on to it that much a little bit longer like that, pressure is going to come, and then you can't do really anything after that.
What do you think of Jamari Sawyer's block attempt on this play? Tough when you have to kind of glide with him into the backfield, but I wouldn't say it was very effective.
Well, it's one of those where as a tackle, you always have in your head that my quarterback's going to be at X spot. And if the quarterback goes deeper from his sort of normal drop, then, hey, that sack is a lot of times, or that pressure is a lot of times on the QB. So here, once Anderson pushes up the field like that, you can see him just, all right, I'm going to push him away because I know that, and stay with it. I actually think he does a pretty good job there, because once you push him away, your quarterback is either one going to step up and be sort of at a higher point there versus the spot where Anderson's going to end up. So that, not bad work by him, but you get pressure from the interior, and then you just got to go try to make a play and scramble drill.
And it's that guy too. Again, we'll keep saying that.
Yep, he's really good.
All right, here's Stetson again. Fakes with the shoulders, scrambles up.
Take it all day. Do it all day, every day until you can't. Now, we'll say, by the way, that play, if we look at it again, one thing about that play where the one he just got right here is looking at Bowers. Watch Bowers out like I'm going to there, and then come down. That's one where you might see some of that again, just to give the Bowers the opportunity to be one-on-one against the linebacker there, get it to him quickly. But I love the quick decision. Anytime you make quick decisions like that, and go and get what you can get and go get positive yards, keep everything moving forward, be able to still be who you are offensively, take it all day, every day.
I do like Ladd getting the go route here.
Yeah.
More Ladd, please.
Yep. And we said this before. We said this, I think, in the last offensive breakdown we looked at. I think that's something they're going to have to do in the next game is play their best players as much as they possibly can.
Kenny McIntosh in the game now. First thing that stands out to me just in the alignment on the still screen is look how close Salyer and Brock Bowers are on the left.
Yep, and Fitzpatrick very, very similar on the right. And this is one where traditionally, what do we see Georgia run out of this formation? 1, play action, or 2, counters. And they actually didn't run this formation, I think, as much as they normally have in the past. They didn't run counter once, to my knowledge, to my recollection. And, when you got the back to that side and then Stetson riding like that, what's the right side linebacker, Harris in this case, do? He plays the pull. So when he plays the pull and you go inside and you get those blocks, which by the way, you're getting because Bowers is there to help. Bowers is there to give you an extra body. Look what you get. You get a massive hole. You get a great block from Van Pran, eats Tuatoa alive, and you get a massive hole in a 12-yard game.
Keep looking for that guy, right? Keep looking right here in the slot on the next play.
And this is one where this play, just this one play to me, kind of shows you where Georgia was offensively in this game. This is still into the third quarter. You're still like a minute left, maybe like 2 minutes left in the third quarter at this point. You're down 2 scores. Okay, just go and get a score here. But you're going into a drop back game very quickly on 1st and 10. By the way, shotgun drop back 1st and 10. It's a heck of a ball placement catch by Bowers, but it's just one where, hey, go be who you are still. You got time. I think it kind of got away from them a little bit early. I think they had 55. I think you had 55 dropbacks, which at a certain point, yes, you have to. But a lot more of them were early than possibly it should have been.
Tight set next.
Love this. Love this. Love this. Love this. Because in essence, what that bunch is a massive unbalanced formation. Now, granted, it's not 3 tight ends in this case. It's two tight ends and Burton. But still, it's an unbalanced look. It's 2nd down and I think 3 maybe. And you go get 7 or 8, like all day. Take it. If they don't, and look who you're blocking, by the way. You're blocking a backer. You're blocking a corner. And if you got your big dudes blocking those guys, that more often than not, it's going to be a win for you.
Well, we always say,
not on the field, by the way.
We always say you don't always have to hit a great block. And look, on this play, Jermaine Burton really doesn't block anybody. But I do want you to notice that just his presence stops this guy from making a play. And so sometimes you just have to be a space clogger. And that happens in this particular set, even for a wide receiver.
Yep. And oftentimes to me, one thing I would like to see, and by the way, Georgia's offense has been really good this year. It's been one of the highest scoring offenses in football. But more often than not, to me, when they have success with a play, it's sometimes, especially running plays, by the way, it takes a while for that play to come back into the fold. I would almost run that exact same play right there until they stop it at that point in the game. Because at that point in the game, I just want to go score. But what they do is they go empty here. So after the very next play, they go empty. Or not empty, but they one back set. Everybody else is spread out. And you get beat. And you got a 1-yard gain. Your numbers advantage is gone. And, their defensive lineman knows that, hey, the back is, all those guys are slanting away from the back because that's the one running play. That's where you can go. Christian Harris is, looking a little bit and then trailing. And they're beating your front side. Erickson kind of slips and falls down a little bit, I think.
Erickson kind of falls down right here. Jamari gets his inside shoulder beat. And so he's kind of in a tough spot where you're beat pretty early on and can't recover.
Yep. And then you only get 1 yard, and now you're 2nd and 9.
Nothing Zamir White can do there.
Now, this to me is the single most, outside of the pick 6, by the way, and we'll talk about that. That'll be the last play we look at. But outside of that, this is the most perplexing play in the world to me because look what we have here. We have the 3 tight end bunch set at the bottom of the screen. You've got not necessarily a numbers advantage. They have 4 to your 3. And then you got George Pickens at the top of the screen, 1-on-1. And here's the key for me with this. And this is the part that I just don't understand. And hey, maybe Stetson thinks he's got true 1-on-1 and he's just going to look there quickly. But if you have, and when you just run the play, and then we'll break it down afterwards. And if we go back to it, what you saw was Bowers is, sort of, hey, the now screen. I'm just going to get it now. Darnell fakes the blocking. Both Darnell and Fitzpatrick fake the blocking and then go in routes. If that is what's going on at the bottom of the screen, to your left, if you're at QB, and you want the 1-on-1 matchup to the top of the screen, why do you look to the right first? This is one you almost went John Madden there for a second. Be careful. But if you want the 1-on-1 at the top of the screen, I don't understand. I didn't understand why he looked right first, because he looks right, then comes back left to a now that's not even there. if you flip that, all right, now if you look left first, and then when you come back right, boom, pause it right there. Look at the top of the screen now. You have all kinds of space to put the ball, you throw it towards the pylon and the goal line, and you let Pickens go get it. That was, again, this to me was, I just did not understand whatsoever why he looked right first instead of looking left first, given what was going on in the play.
That's a good point.
So 3rd and 9, we go empty. This is one where it's like, yes, yes, yes. No.
Stetson. Do you like the empty set?
I do, especially when it's Cook and Bowers on the interior, and you got threats. You got Burton, A.D. Mitchell on the outside, and this is, by the way, later in the game they complete the same pass to Bowers. It's a really good, well-thrown ball. It's
good play by Alabama.
It's just a great play by the safety near Bowers, coming back to it. And one where, and you could tell, by the way, based upon how this, you think, oh, well, if he throws it to the left a little more and Bowers goes and gets it and doesn't have to turn back the other way, he doesn't get hit by the safety. But look at what happened later in the game. The exact same play happened and Bowers turned the exact same way. So that's obviously how they practice it. And the only perplexing part of the play for me is looking at what Cook does in the slot.
I was showing the numbers up top of what Stetson would see at the beginning of this, is that he's going to have something going on right here with this space here.
Yep, and he knows the middle of the field's open. Like it's a 2-safety look. The middle of the field is open. The middle of the field is not closed. It's not a single safety. So you got a guy, and based upon their alignment, that somebody is somebody's running with Bowers, and they're going to have their head turned. The other part for me, I didn't understand Cook's route here. I thought 3rd and 9, and I thought he was going to get, he's matched up on Toa. We saw this last year. Toa got destroyed by Kenny Mack and others when he was at Tennessee, and where they pushed at the backer, and we see it against Kentucky, one of the early touchdowns against Kentucky, and he pushed at the backer and then went and cut inside. So that choice route didn't happen. He quickly went to the flat and was an outlet guy. But the other thing for me that with this play is, especially since it was an end zone shot, is did they know on 3rd and 9 that they were going for it on 4th and 9?
Yeah, because look where the sticks are. That's a big reason why this check down doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, and but because when we at the game, it took them a while to get the play in on 4th down, and calling that shot play like that, trying to get the touchdown there, and then not being quick to get your 4th down play in. It's like, did you know you were on 3rd and 9? Did you know you were going for 4th and 9? Because my first thought looking at this was, as soon as the play lined up, I'm like, all right, QB draw, run QB draw, peel those guys out, run QB draw, go get 6-7, and then whatever after that. But who knows? Because
what we know is we have James Cook on a linebacker and a whole buttload of space potentially. What Georgia ends up doing is having him start up, can do his check down here, way far away from the sticks. What we're saying is why, and there's a variety of ways you can do this, but the angle route to the inside that we've seen with Cook has been really successful in past games. So maybe something that starts out here, cuts back to the middle, and then utilizes the space, knowing that you have a couple clear outs happening up here for the safeties.
Yeah, and at least push at the linebacker, not instantly go to the flat. Like he instantly takes a step forward and then goes to the flat. But still, by the way, this play was really good, and it was a hair from being a touchdown. It's it's a great play by the safety seeing it, and Bowers not having that one moment to be able to pull it in tight to his body. You're that close to being a touchdown, so you can't complain there. It's just I'm curious about some of the other aspects of it, just the communication aspects than anything. Because 4th and 9,
we have Bama bringing the heat.
Yes, they bring the heat, and you just miss it. I think Schaefer in the left guard just right by him, and then now you just got to throw it up. You got no chance at a play. And the biggest thing there was that you took a while to get the play in, so now you're trying to get the line. Oh, I'm trying to check and do things, and you just run out of time. it was one of those ones, hey, if you're going to go for that, maybe that's one maybe you consider taking a timeout. But they didn't. They didn't get it move forward. But by the way, it's still just 31-17. It's still it's not like it's a true blowout yet, or it's you're in desperate manners yet. Go down, score. The idea is to, hey, be within one possession where your defense that's starting to do some things a little bit can get one stop, and then you have a chance to go tie the game with the ball. But you didn't get it there. And then also
pretty good disguise here from Alabama, because I think what Georgia was worried about, if this guy rushes off the edge, then Salyer has to pick him up here. And so when he drops back, that's what kind of causes the confusion. He goes back here, and then Schaefer doesn't really know what to do, because at the snap, I think Schaefer thinks, I need to help on this guy just in case Jamari has to go out wide.
Yep, 100%. And it's always one where, and by the way, they had two unblocked guys there, but that's one of the things that Bama just did well. And they always do well. And by the way, that's usually what Georgia does well, except for Bama was way more prepared for it and played it way better than Georgia did in this game.
Two more plays before, well, we know what the one after this is. We're going to end on the pick six, but we have one more before that.
Yeah, and it's one where, hey, again, this is still – and what's interesting about this, so Cook gets, I think, 8 on first down. And I think we actually talked about this the other day when we did the video, that they could have come back to this, and they did. And this is a great stuff for them. Great running game for them is to get the quick game and get these guys out in space really quickly and use your tight ends that are really good to block. And then the next play, by the way, so the next play after that, Cook gets like 3 yards. So you got a first down. By the way, it's still 12 minutes to go in the game. It's not like it's there. And then, all right, 1st and 10, we go empty. And this is one where you just, I don't know what he saw. I don't know if he thought there was a single safety. I don't know I don't know. Because when you watch this, what's amazing about it is Battle is looking at the route. So right there, before Stetson's even separated to make the throw, Battle has his eyes on the route. So if Stetson pumps that and then throws the deep ball, to the bottom of the screen, Battle's not going to see it. But what he does is he gets his eyes on the route, and then the ball is, I think, halfway there, and it's out of his hand, and then he jumps it, and now you go ball game.
Yeah, at this point, I think this was the nail in the coffin.
It was.
And Stetson absolutely said, "Look, I made a bad read. I didn't see what I should have seen."
Yep, and it's, I would try to keep looking at, all right, did he think that there was going to be, that safety was rotating away? Did he think he was playing deeper off, like he was going to stay the go route? I don't know, but yeah, he's just one where you just don't know. And you got 1 or 2 of these a game, you got to take advantage. And Alabama did, and they made those plays. Georgia didn't. Ball game right here, but still, yet again, I still think they could have been who they were all throughout this quarter, and they went more drop back game. 55 dropbacks in the game. And I don't know what it was to that point, but no matter what it is, it wasn't efficient enough to do what they needed to do. And they got some things to work on. They got some tape to see, but the things that we saw later in that where Stetson was taking the opportunities quickly to run, do more of that, take them all day, especially against Michigan, because they might beat you quickly. Like they might their edge guys might just beat you quickly. And you have to go make those plays and make those decisions quickly and go get what you can get.
I think that's the primary lesson that I see from this, is that Stetson, you're an athlete, you're a mobile guy, and when you see daylight, you take it. And if it turns out to be 3 yards, it's 3 yards you didn't have before. If it turns out to be 15, 20, 30 yards, even better. But you're more of a runner than what the tape gave you credit for against Alabama. Now, did Todd Monken say, hey, stay in the pocket a little bit longer? Like, we don't know what coaches are telling him to do. All I can say is that Alabama played Georgia really well, and then Georgia made a lot of mistakes, either Stetson not running when he could have, Stetson making a couple bad throws. But if you look at this offense in this third quarter, it goes far beyond Stetson. It goes some blocking things. Mainly, to me, I thought there was some alignment stuff where the spacing was messed up, whether it be Kenny McIntosh not running wide enough to you talked about getting way wide. He didn't get way wide. He just kind of stayed right there beside Stetson on that particular little quick pass. It didn't work out, whether it be Kyrus Jackson, experienced player, maybe running a bit too close, shaving off his route when in a combination route with Jermaine Burton. So those are the things that Stetson has to be better for sure. But if the guys around him don't play better than what we saw in that third quarter, it's not going to make a difference either against Michigan or Alabama.
Right. And they had almost 500 yards. They have like 450, right around 450 yards of offense. They still had a lot of offense. Now it's just about being efficient, consistently keeping ahead of the chains. That way they can stay who they are and then get points.
Run more Stetson. Play McConkey more, give him more of those deep shots, and then keep going to Bowers. I mean, I know a lot of people were saying that, oh, Stetson got tunnel vision. He kept going to one guy. Well, that one guy is really darn good. And if anything, add Pickens in there and throw to two guys.
Yep. So put your best players on the field and put them on there as much as they possibly can until they need a break. They'll tell you when they need a break.
Well, that'll wrap up our SEC championship game coverage. That's 4 videos now that you can go back on our YouTube channel, and I'll make sure our playlist is updated as well, so you can go back and see everything that we've done with Georgia and Alabama. I think the two teams will end up playing again. We shall see. It's going to be 2 tough matchups. I think Alabama-Cincinnati may be closer than the experts think. I think Michigan's going to give Georgia a decent game, but I think the best 2 teams in the country are Alabama and Georgia, so I expect they will play again. So that means we get to do more previews and probably go back to some of these things.
And, hey, after the holidays, we'll look a lot more at Michigan and get more into that and let people know what's going on with that game.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's Brent Rollins. I'm Dayne Young. This is the UGA Sports YouTube channel. You need to be subscribed here so you can get all of our latest Film Don't Lie content, as well as just the multitude of stuff that is happening around the Georgia Bulldogs. We went live on Sunday to talk about, was that Sunday? It was over the weekend when Dan Lanning officially became the head coach of Oregon, and we reacted what that would mean for Georgia. So you can go check that out. Check that out as well. Subscribe to this channel. Thanks, Brent. As always, we will see you all next time.